So I've had not one or two, but three patients this week ask me about their triglycerides. And there's a bunch of stuff to know about triglycerides. One is there's genetic issues. That's not the most common thing. The most common thing is people with metabolic problems. Insulin resistance, most commonly. Because with insulin resistance, your body has to increase insulin to get those ailing insulin receptors to work. Well, increased insulin stops triglyceride burning. So you need to manage your carb metabolism, decrease your carbs. Patients will say, I'm doing all that. And it's true. A lot of them are doing a lot of work in that area, still struggling with those triglycerides. Well, are there medications? Of course there are medications. The most recent one is a good one. The most recent one was icosapent ethyl, otherwise known as Visipa. But, the real question is, what can I do in terms of supplements? Yes, you can take supplements in this area. In fact, I just covered last week a YouTube Live. Major content was on a krill oil supplement decreasing triglycerides. But it's kind of frustrating because I've made a whole video about this. It was a quick and tasty omega-3 bomb. It's one of those things that it's sort of like prolonged fasting. You keep saying, you keep shouting from the mountaintops, this is a very powerful thing. But people don't like to do it. They don't like to do prolonged fasting, and they don't like to do what I'm getting ready to suggest to you. And I have to tell you, I tried it myself for months, tried to force myself to eat this, and I just didn't like it. So I quit. I gave up. But a few months later, I went back and I have developed a taste, a love for this. In fact, if you start looking at the internet, last night I pulled up this video from Rhonda Patrick. She was talking with Bill Harris. Bill Harris manages a lab that looks at omega-3 levels, and it's called Omega Quant. And I've got some challenges with the lab, or some problems with the lab techniques themselves, and he talked about those as well. But I don't have any challenge with, again, this totally prescription-free, totally out there and available omega-3 bomb that makes a big deal. In fact, if you look at this video, I think it's at like minute 45 or 50, Rhonda Patrick talking, saying, my omega-3 levels are up around 12 to 15, like you typically see with Japanese. And it's true. In the Japanese population, you tend to see 12 to 15 kind of levels, whereas in the US, you see 2 to 3 and maybe 6 to 9 if somebody's really watching it. It's because we don't eat this omega-3 bomb. And she does, just like I do. So as you noticed, I haven't told you what I'm talking about yet. I'm going to give you another clue. It was actually in a Sherlock Holmes story, and you've heard the term already. You hear it a lot in speech. It was a red herring. So herring, can you stomach eating those? Yeah, that's what Rhonda Patrick said. She said she eats them every day. Guess what? I eat herring every day. Yeah, sardines versus herring, we'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, Rhonda eats sardines, I eat herring. What are these pictures I'm showing you? These are the capitals in the world of the Atlantic herring industry. It's a beautiful space. I did a video just about how they make this smoked herring. It was a beautiful video. It went into a lot of the details on how it was done. And, it just gets into the whole challenge of being a content creator. This was my picture, and you see that was one of the types of herrings. It was a different one from this one, but that was the one that I was eating at the time. And I was trying to make the point that this can be good. You can make it good. But again, got very little uptake on that video. Now, I mentioned that herring and sardines are both a type of related fish. Fish is called Clupidae or Clupidae. And here's some pictures of herrings and sardines and other Clupidae. Now, if you look at this picture, tell me that it's not good. The reality is, it is good, as you see in this headline. It's a breakfast dish. It fell out of favor. Now it's getting back on the breakfast menu, and I'm eating it on a regular basis too. So yeah, I understand it takes a while to develop that taste, but think about it. We're talking about life or death here. I hate to say that, and I hate to say life or death eating sardines, but it's true. Before we go, I want to do a thing that I learned from my old friend and patient, old Alabama gardener. He grew stuff farm to table, and he would eat a sample of it at the end. Wish I could share some with you. It's really good. Thank you so much for your interest.